Isn't
second.
it wild looking at Carlito now? Like when he was back in like the Ruthless Aggression era, when oh 05, oh 06, oh 07, when he was there, and he like was one of the smaller guys. Now he's here. He's like one of the biggest guys there.
Yeah, like
He's
a
he's
legit.
enormous. He's huge. He's huge. Think about if he looked like that in that era. I bet
I
you he would
know.
have had I bet you he would have had the title. I think he would have if he
Probably.
back
I
then.
mean, he's got the Mexican flair. You know what I mean? Like he can cut a promo. He's got a good gimmick.
Puerto Rican Nick. Take another sip, buddy. It's okay.
Moving on. Here we go.
Here comes trouble!
It's me. It's that N to the T to the G rolling once again with that BT double baby trouble vision taking up the whole screen. And you got myself, Nikki the Good, and we are the Meatpop Express. And boy, do we have yet another great show for you today. But Ben, I am exhausted. And it goes perfectly with what we're going to be talking about today because this weekend is all about surviving, right? It's about Survivor Series. It's one of the original Big Four, but I've been surviving because here's a little promo that goes out to all the medical experts and all you smart people out there, okay? Now, listen,
Tell him.
I'll be honest. I'm drinking on this podcast right now, okay? I'm drinking, okay? And here's why. Children's medicine. Why does it taste so damn bad? Why can't they make this shit just taste good? Because I'm over here trying to get a 4-year-old to take 0.75 milliliters of some gross ass Motrin. And it shouldn't be gross. It shouldn't be sticky. It shouldn't be yucky. It shouldn't be, ew, I don't like that. It should just be something that tastes like, I don't know, pink starburst. It should taste good because I'm sitting there for an hour and a half trying to survive, to be the last dad standing as I beg and plead for this 4-year-old to please consume this disgusting, gross ass just blah, so that she can feel better and we can bring the old fever ski down. Okay. And now, Ben, I know you don't got kids, you got dogs.
I got dogs.
How do you get those some bitches to take whatever they need?
Oh, you don't. Well, you gotta take a syringe. You gotta fill up the syringe with whatever. Sometimes it's alcohol if they eat something they're not supposed to eat, and you just gotta shove the syringe down their throat and squeeze it, and hopefully they throw up. That's about the only way you do it. Or you just put it in food because they're dogs. So you just throw it in some food. It's pretty easy to give them a pill. They'll take it. You just wrap it up in some peanut butter or a little pill pocket. They'll eat it right up. So it's much
Brother,
easier.
my daughter can sense that shit from a mile away. If I try and put this shit, this bubblegum bullshit in like chocolate ice cream, doesn't work. She detects it immediately. She's too smart for me. So
Wow.
the moral of this story is you just need to survive, which brings me into what we're talking about today. It's Survivor Series this Saturday, one of WWE's biggest PLEs, premium live events
Yeah, we stay on brand.
of
We
the
stay
year.
on
We'll
brand.
stay on brand, right? And what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go a little bit, actually discuss some wrestling for you marks out there. And we're actually going to talk about the show, what we think is going to have, maybe give a little predictions. But then we're going to end the show by breaking down, okay? We're going to break down our own Survivor Series teams. But Ben, do you want to tell these marks what the categories for this week?
Yeah, so you know how we do things. You'd expect probably a wrestling podcast to pick their all-time favorite Survivor Series team, and that's boring as all get out. Because what are we gonna do? Oh, I pick Hulk Hogan, and I pick Undertaker, I pick Randy Orton, I pick John Cena. You know, that's boring. We're not doing the all-time Survivor Series team. We are picking the greatest pop culture Survivor Series team of all time. So we're each going to pick our own guys here, or who we got. So I'll run through the topics. We'll get to this towards the end, but we're going to do an 80s cartoon, a 90s cartoon, an 80s action movie star, a 90s sitcom star, and then a musician from any era or any genre. And that we're going to pick our five guys to be on our Survivor Series team, or women. It could be a woman too.
Yep.
I don't know what Nick picked. 5 people we want to pick on to be on our Survivor Series team. I got mine. I love my team. I'm not gonna no spoilers, but I love my team, and I'm staying on brand with my team.
And I'm hoping to not have taken some of your picks because when I was doing this list, I was like, what is Ben like? Well, I don't want to pick what Ben picked. So I picked two guys. So I have backups for each round because
Well,
I'm
I don't, because
hoping.
I know I'm getting my picks. I know. I don't think you're thinking what I'm thinking here. I got a pretty good. I rounded out my team in a specific way to absolutely destroy your team. We're just gonna say that, and
Well,
we might even go through the match. We might go through the match. We might even simulate the match and see how it goes. After we
interesting,
take the team.
interesting. But for
Maybe we
now,
will.
we're not going to do any simulation. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to get back down into the nitty gritty. We're going to talk about the actual Survivor Series card right here, right now. And I actually want to kick it off with the women's War Games match. So Ben,
Oh,
that's where I want to go. I
okay.
want to go ladies first because
Ladies
we're
first.
respectful guys here. We're husbands. We understand that the ladies got to be the priority here. So here we go. We got Damage Control. We got Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, Kyrie Sane versus Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, and Shotzi. I think that
Shotski or
I
Shotzi?
Shotzi. Shot
Shotzi. Shotzi.
Shotzi. Shotskis. Well, I'm taking
He's got
Shotskis right
drinking. He's
now.
having a little Pink Whitney. I've taken a Shotski out of a Pink Whitney hockey stick
Oh, we
before.
did, brother. Well, we took plenty of shots. We were down there at Starcade. I went down
Oh,
there
we
with Big
sure
Trouble
were.
Ben Bishop. Never been out.
Starcast. Starcast.
What did I say?
Starcade.
Starcade.
See a
Yeah,
little
shit.
bit too much. A little too much Pink Whitney.
I
We're
haven't
staying on
drank.
brand,
Yep, I
folks.
haven't drank it. Anyways, yeah. So I went down there with Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Never hit the towns with someone that's 6'12", 15% of a metric ton. Let me tell you, folks, if you want to just get attention at a bar, just hang out with Ben. Just hang out with Ben.
It's
It's that
pretty
simple.
easy.
Anyway, so Ben, what are you thinking about this matchup, man? We have decent storylines here, but it really kind of feels that the storyline is really with Damage Control on their side, right?
I think so too, because it seems like, well, obviously Kyrie Sane is back, so we haven't really seen much of her yet, and so we have her, matched up with her old running buddy Io Sky and Damage Control. By the way, I love Damage Control's entrance. I think the song's pretty badass. They got one of the few really good songs in current professional wrestling. I really like their music. But really, they're going up against a juggernaut of a team. I mean, Charlotte, Bianca, Becky Lynch. I mean, we'll throw Shotzi in there, but those first three. I mean, they're kind of taking the cake here.
Hall of Famers.
This is tough.
Hall of Famers.
Exactly. Already, yeah, definitely Charlotte, Becky, Bianca's well on her way, and we'll see what happens with Shotzi. I think she's a hell of a talent. I'm sure she can probably make a case. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt here. That's a juggernaut. I mean, I really can't call this though because Damage Control they're a team. These other four, they're not a team. So I never really like, just throw a bunch of singles competitors together beating an established team. So my pick, I hope we see something out of Damage Control. I'd like to see Damage Control take this one.
I'll say this. I feel like Becky Lynch does the thing where she just appears as the last person like every year and then just stands next to the girls like that. Like they do
Mm-hmm.
that big stare down thing. So I think that if I had to predict this, I think that Damage Control is definitely eating the loss, but
Okay.
it's a means to an end, right? Because you need some dissension. They've been teasing it forever, and it just doesn't make any sense for Bayley to kind of be in that group anymore based on where they're going. I also think that baby, Jesus, brother. I have been sipping the pink Whitney, brother. Bayley, she's due for a baby face run again. I think
Okay.
I get it. She's a good heel. I'll give it to her. She's had a hell of a run. But man, we got to get her on the other side of the tracks. So I think she needs to go babyface, and I think this is the mechanism they're going to use it. Do not see how you can have Charlotte, Bianca, Becky, and Shotzi. I don't see how you can have them lose to this group. I just don't see it.
Yeah, the only way I think I would see it is that they're just not a team. They're not a team. Damage Control is, and they could be dominating the match, but they could have a slip up at some point, and it could cost them the victory. So we'll see. I like where you're coming at with Bayley turning face, but I think we differ here. I think Damage Control wins this
So
one.
you're going Damage Control. I guess like the female all-star team. So I'm going with that squad. So that's where I'm going. So okay, so a little bit of dissension between us. So I like that. I like when we have different opinions. So we'll see who's gonna win Saturday night. for Survivor Series November 25th. All right, so let's go into. I'm not going to tell you which one we're going to. I want to go into the Intercontinental Championship
Oh.
match, which I gotta say, man, this is what I love
Mm-hmm.
about pro wrestling. How all it takes is just a little good promos, one
Mm-hmm.
big moment, and there's nothing better than when the crowd gets behind someone who they typically do not get behind, right?
This has
So
been
we
great.
have the defending champion, intercontinental champion, the dude with the streak, the longest streak, right? Like he passed
Ever.
Honky, right?
He beat Honky
So he's got
Tonk
the
Man, yep.
longest streak ever. We have Gunther versus. We just talked. I don't, dude, brother. How many times do we just
We do we
nail who's like on
we're
the up and
nailing
coming? I
who's
mean,
getting that next push. We've
how
done it.
many more times do we have to just nail who gets the next big push in
We
professional
know.
wrestling before people start to take us seriously and give
They
us
better
all the
take us
views?
serious. We know what we're talking about. We get this shit.
You know
We get
why?
it.
Because we like sports entertainment. All these other
Exactly.
marks right now that are just,
Doing their fantasy
they're
booking, all
fawning
this.
over a guy whose name rhymes with Phil Blosplay. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, great, awesome dude, but he ain't this fella. So we got Gunther versus future Hall of Famer, two-time
Yep.
Grand,
Grand Slam. Nick's having a go at it today, folks. We're
Grand
gonna give him a
Slam champion, The Miz. What do you got, Big Trouble?
I just gotta say, what a story leading into this. Even Gunther was on our close personal friend Chris Van Vliet's
Yep,
podcast,
yep.
and he's
After us,
after us
because Van Vliet did interview us. We proved that in the
he
interview.
did. So we came before Gunther, but he kept the story going even on that podcast, and he said, "I've never." Miz embodies everything I didn't like. The era I did not watch professional. I did not watch WWE.
Great line,
Is
by the
what
way.
Miz
Fucking
embodies.
great line.
Because it's like he felt like he was gonna compliment him. Like Miz embodies the time that I didn't watch this shit. And what a line! All you need is that, and he has continued his just going in on the Miz and just and things that people have said. So it's a little bit of realism in there. Is that like what people don't like about the Miz? Now we love the Miz, but obviously Miz has a lot of haters, and Gunther's playing on that. And over the years, the Intercontinental title, it hasn't meant as much as it does now. Gunther has made this title mean a lot over the years. Miz has made it mean a
Yep,
lot though too.
absolutely.
Does he have the most title reigns of, or is it still Jericho at 9?
I think Jericho has the most. Yeah.
I think he has 9. I think Miz is at 8. But I don't see Miz. I mean, I don't see Miz beating Gunther here. I think eventually Miz will have the most Intercontinental title wins of all time. I don't see it happening here. I think it'll be a hell of a match. I think Miz is a hell of a worker. Obviously, Gunther's one of my favorites. So I'm very, honestly, of all the matches, this is probably the match I'm looking forward to the most.
I would agree with that. What I'd also say is that, yes, I do think Gunther definitely retains this. The Miz doesn't need the belt right now. He doesn't really need the belt ever. That's just how
No.
great he is. But what I'll say is this: Gunther's perfect because when the Miz was feuding with LA Knight, right? It's kind of tough to to insult guys that you're so similar to. Like the Miz has never gotten credit, right, for what he's done, right? He is Teflon there. He's untouchable. But people just still treat him the same, like for some reason, like he just will always have that chip. LA Knight the same way, right? Maybe not the chosen one, like the Miz wasn't the chosen one, but they just through sheer charisma, talent, and
Yep.
just taking no for an answer, like refusing to take no for an answer, like
Mm-hmm.
they've ascended. But
Yep.
Gunther, on the other hand, was Walter, obviously, big time indie star, right? Came
Mm-hmm.
over from where? Like UK, whatever.
Austria
Austria. I don't know.
or Germany. He was all over Europe.
I'm drinking. It's all the same to me.
It's all the same.
It's not America. It's just
Somewhere
someplace else. Yeah.
Parts unknown, Nick.
Yeah. He comes over. He's wearing the suit too, but he doesn't have the same vibe, man. It's like I was positioned to be a star. You're not. Okay. When you were champion, when you were doing your thing, I thought the product sucked. And part of the reason is because they had guys like you on top. I think it's a money feud. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to the fan reaction for the Miz, man, because Dude, they're gonna get behind him. Like, and there's gonna
Hmm.
be some falsies. He's gonna convince you at some point that I might be able to make this possible. It's not gonna happen. If it did, I'm gonna be popping big time in the basement, probably shoving some dominoes to my face. But
Oh,
you know, so we both got Gunther winning that one, right? It probably
yep,
our personally ours based on storyline and character development. This is probably our favorite match of the show.
absolutely, 100%,
All right.
100%, hands down.
I'm gonna go with what next up. Let's go with Carlito versus Santos Escobar. Another story-driven match, you
Yeah,
know, a
look,
little
look at
bit.
that.
There's
Look at that.
look at that. Isn't it
Stories, folks,
interesting?
stories.
Isn't
It's
it interesting?
we weren't even talking about Escobar or Carlito 2, 3 months ago. Now they're in one of the top pay-per-views of the year in a match that has a story that people are actually invested in.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that.
With depth
Simple.
to with depth to it. So what do you got? What do you
Depth.
got here? What are you thinking?
I mean, the easy answer, right, is Escobar, right? Like Carlito comes in, puts the younger kid over. It seems like they're trying to position Escobar as their next great Latino, the face of the company, right? After Rey Mysterio, he probably doesn't have too many years left. So the easy answer is Santos Escobar. What I would like to see, though, is some type of swerve here where Rey somehow gets involved and maybe they both turn on him. I would like to see that. I don't think it's going to happen. It's tough to kind of have guys have a match and then like all of a sudden now they're on the same page. It's
Mhm.
kind of weird. It's kind of a weird thing. Like why would they fight each other and all of a sudden be on the same page? But if somehow they could do that and maybe Carlito has like a heel LWO faction, maybe Ray has like a face LWO faction. I'd like to see something like that, but I'm going to go with safe. I'm not going to go out too much of a limb here. I'm going to say Escobar. Escobar wins this match dirty, not clean. He's going to win dirty, but he's going to win this match.
Yeah, I hope he wins dirty. I hope that's the way they run with it. I also think that just Carlito can be positioned as a big baby face if he wanted to, too. Like, I feel like he's at the point where he has the respect and adulation of the audience
Yeah.
that no matter what he does, they're going to kind of cheer for him, you know? Because
Mm-hmm.
he's a heel, but he's a cool heel. Like, no pun
Yeah.
intended, but pun intended. Like, he's a cool heel, but I also think he could run it back as babyface. He's also big enough. You know us. He looks like a superstar. He's
He
in
looks
great shape.
great.
He looks
Looks
fucking
great.
phenomenal. He's got a nice, sweet ass finisher. He can cut a promo. I think they need to position Carlito to do a little bit more. I don't, he's obviously up there in age, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, but he's in great shape. I'd
He
run with
looks he looks the best he's ever
he
looked. I
looked the
don't even
best he's
know
ever
you.
looked. Yeah, so I would run with him a little bit. I don't think it's too crazy to think that Santos Escobar is going to walk away with this one. Is that
Isn't it wild looking at Carlito now? Like when he was back in like the Ruthless Aggression era, when 05, 06, 07, when he was there, and he like was one of the smaller guys. Now he's here. He's like one of the biggest guys there.
yeah, like a
He's
legit.
enormous. He's huge. He's huge. Think about if he looked like that in that era. I bet
I
you he would
know.
have had I bet you he would have had the title. I think he would have if he
Probably.
back
I
then.
mean, he's got the Mexican flair. You know what I mean? Like he can cut a promo. He's got a good gimmick.
Puerto Rican Nick. Take another sip, buddy. It's okay.
Moving on. Here we go. We're gonna go. The kid she just took her medicine. I'd be perfectly fine right now. If she just took her
You're all
medicine.
rattled. You're absolutely rattled.
Brother,
You're rattled.
it's been an onslaught on you, boy.
We're never getting sponsored by Children's Motrin.
I don't want to. Fuck
I don't want
Children's
to.
Motion. If you're outside, if you right now are a fan of our show, and you are a promoter of Children's Motrin, and you want to sponsor this, and you want to give us money, I don't want it unless it's a lot. But I don't really want it because you guys fucked me today, big time. Anyway, okay, moving on. Here we go.
All right,
So we
next
got
match.
let's go the Women's World Championship match. Kind of another one with the same one where you kind of know where you're going, but we got
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, the Brutality as champion versus Zoe Stark. What do you got going on for here, Big Trouble?
This one's easy. I mean, there's no shot that Zoe Stark's taking the title off Rhea. I think it'd be a dumb decision. Nothing against Zoe Stark, but Rhea is like top 5 most popular person in the company right now. So
I mean, Rhea to me is like other than Roman, her belt is like it's up there.
The next,
Like, it is the next
100%.
like who the
100%.
hell can actually pull this away from her? And she's so good. Like it can't even be Charlotte. Like it can't be like you could not like Imagine the hysteria online if like Charlotte like ended her reign. It's
Oh,
got to be
I would love
someone.
it though. I would love that.
It's, bro,
Oh, what a bloodbath!
it's got to be someone special though.
Like
Zoe
Jade,
Stark. Oh,
like
you
Jade,
want to piss some
maybe.
people off? I'll just do that just to see people get angry. But guess
By
what?
the way, let me say this real quick. Dave Meltzer. Once again, I don't know if you saw this rumor he came out with that they're holding Jade back because they're like, oh, yeah, they probably saw her wrestle
No,
and it's
no,
probably not as good as they want it to be. No,
no.
no, no. We watched years of Ultimate Warrior. We watched years of Goldberg. If they want to, they can make Jade Cargill look like she already looks like a star. They can make her look like a superstar inside the ring. The women they have in WWE are so freaking good that they can do that. Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, it doesn't matter. Bianca, go down the line.
Mm.
They can make Jade Cargill look like a stud in that ring. She can do it. Dave Meltzer, stop with this. They're just waiting for the right time, and they're doing it the right way. They don't need her to pop up right now. Don't need to rush anything. Let's find the right time for her, and that's it. I just wanted to say that, Dave, once again, just over the top. Stop with
No
this
one
hyperbole
that
bullshit.
actually wants to make money in the wrestling business has ever been like, oh my God, they can't wrestle. Like, oh my
No,
God. Like
no,
these people that you can make money with, you're not thinking that because they're great wrestlers. Like, never. And
no,
if you are, I don't necessarily think that you're on the, I don't think you're thinking correctly
no,
because that's not how you
no,
sell tickets. It will
no,
never be how
no.
you sell tickets. I will never buy a ticket because I'm like, man, there's going to be some really good matches tonight. It's not. We just explained why. We just went through the card and explained the storylines is why we give a damn as to who wins and who loses. And for the ones that don't have as good storylines, we don't care as much. That's a fact, right? Like the Miz and Gunther are perfect examples of it. Like people, do you consider like the Miz like has anyone ever talks about the Miz as like one of the greatest workers of all time? No, and the reason is because the IWC comes out and they say this guy's he's safe in the ring, he doesn't do much. Who gives a shit? He talks you into the arena. He makes you interested. He's a guy who is just able to basically become a baby face after 10 years of being a damn heel that everyone couldn't stand. You try doing that. You know what that is? That's called being a damn star. So I'm going to move
Damn
on
sure is.
to the next thing because I didn't start it there and I'm really excited about that because feeling loosey goosey right now. Anyway, so let's move on, Ben, to the old. We got the War Games match. We got the men's War Games. We got
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton. The returning Randy Orton, the Apex Predator, the Viper, is returning finally. Versus Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough from Judgment Day. What do you got here, Ben? I feel like there's a lot to unpack here and a lot can happen.
One, WWE is genius for this, and to say Randy Orton, not make him a surprise, because we all know what they would be expecting if they waited until the last minute to tell you who it is. It was perfect. Everyone, if you're listening on audio, Nick just finished his Pink Whitney with a little crystal light in it, so he might get some. He might tell you JD McDonough's from South Africa and Finn Balor's from Romania or something now. So,
All right.
so it's perfect that they announced Randy Orton. So, and the fans popped. Obviously, Randy Orton's going to get a pop. He's a legend, surefire Hall of Famer. In this match, I think the easy thing to say is Randy Orton's going to turn on Cody. I would like Cody and Randy to have.
Why is not more people talking about that? Like
I
everyone's like,
think,
oh, and Randy's gonna get his hands raised. I was like, motherfucker, I think he's hitting that dude with an RKO. Like,
I think he's turning on him. I think it's going to be Cody Randy leading up to WrestleMania. I think that's what Cody's going to do. Maybe a few good wins or a win against Randy. Obviously, they have a lot of history. There's a built-in story right there. Very, very easy. Very easy story. They'll have a hell of a match. One that I would absolutely be looking forward to. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Judgment Day. I'm gonna say that they're gonna eventually win this match. I think it's gonna be awesome. Obviously, everybody in this match can work their absolute asses off. I mean, you got a little bit of everything in this match. So I'm really excited for it. One of the first few War Games matches I've been really excited for. I think a lot of story. but also just a ton of talent in this match.
The
to
way I
make this
look at
thing.
it is Judgment Day has no, sorry. The other side has nothing to gain. The baby faces have nothing to gain by winning this match,
Exactly.
right? The Judgment Day, like if you're looking at the stars in each match, right? As big as the Judgment Day is, and it's huge. It's the, other than the bloodline, it's the, 1A, it's 1A, 1B, right? With
Of
factions,
course.
right? There's just nothing that the baby faces could do winning this match that would further anything they're trying to do. Like
No.
having Randy Orton and Cody like holding hands at the end, raising like no, like
It's kind of it's kind of goofy. Like
bro,
I
it's
don't.
it's Randy Orton. First of all,
Yeah.
Randy Orton as a babyface, great because he's Randy Orton. Randy Orton as a heel,
No, the best one of the best of all
world
time.
champion material. One of the craziest things is that they don't even like the fact that Randy Orton hasn't held the title more over all these years. Like
Yeah.
he's
I
so
mean,
damn good. Like and
he was just in the same time as John Cena, and then
right.
and then Brock Lesnar. Was
And
that
he's
right
still
after that?
relatively
So
young. But I think, yeah, I think 100% it's got to be the Orton turn. The way that Cody's referring to him as his friend, like
mhm.
just hamming it up, babyface hamming it up. I totally think it's going to be a heel turn. It's going to be great. I also think they're going to further some other storylines within this, kind of like the Rumble, how they do that. You're going to see a few things pop out of here as, set up a few other matches.
Did you see? Did you notice? And this guy is unfreaking believable. Jey Uso. Did you
The
notice
reaction.
the face he made when he heard it was Randy Orton? And just because little things like that, little things, because that's the last time we saw Randy Orton. Bloodline took him out.
Right.
So you get Jey Uso making those little faces, a little like that stuff. Folks, little things, furthering stories,
And the thing
and
is,
continuity.
Randy's so good that you're gonna know, like everyone's gonna be eyes on Randy the whole
Oh
time, man.
yeah. Oh yeah. He'll probably come in last. No one will really know his motives. No one's gonna know. I think that's how it's gonna work. You're gonna wait. Everyone's gonna be waiting for him, and all of a sudden, you're gonna hear the music hit. It's gonna be anticipated. Everyone's gonna be up on their feet. He'll come in last. No one knows what he's gonna do. No one has any idea.
I'm
And then
super excited for that match. I hope it closes because
I
I don't want it to
they
open
think
up.
they have to. I think they have to.
They gotta
Before
right.
before we move on, that's the card, right, Nick? 'Cause I don't think there's anything else announced.
Well, there's one guy that we don't know about.
L.A. Knight. There's also another
Yeah,
thing. That's right. So yeah, he's not on the card. Maybe it's just a hey, he was just on Crown Jewel in the main event, but just not needed right
I
now.
feel like he could have a promo. Just give him a promo.
Maybe a promo come out, hit a finish on someone like Grayson
Yeah,
Waller or something.
like the old coach spot, like where you
Yeah.
give the coach a spot and he would just get like taken out by the babyface.
Well, here's something interesting. Also, is that there's been a lot of like weird cryptic like Shinsuke promos recently that no one
Yes,
really has any idea. Now, I obviously the hot rumor. Now, people on YouTube were telling me, calling me a liar, saying we're building our platform on lies. By the way,
never.
unbelievable with the marks in this world. But the rumor, obviously, the biggest rumor, is CM Punk going to show up to Survivor Series in Chicago. Now, I think I don't. Now, I'm predicting that in some way he is going to be there in Chicago. I think they are throwing everyone, including Nick Houseman, the number one CM Punk reporter in the world. I think they are making sure that they have no idea. I think it's a big swerve. I think they're really keeping this under wraps. Only people that need to know. Kind of like when the Hardys came back. No one knew. No one person knew. They were under wraps the whole day. No one had any idea until they were walking to the ring. So I'm going to predict that. I'm going to predict that something with Shinsuke or CM Punk comes back or in some way at Survivor Series.
I'll say this. I say it every time and maybe hypocritical because like I go back and forth like CM Punk, what's this guy's problem? He's always, causing an issue. If he's on my television screen, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, you sure are.
That's just
Yeah,
what
absolutely are.
the dude's entertaining. I hope he comes back. I hope he's back in WWE. If you don't like that, you think he's a shitty person, guess what? I don't really give a shit. He's entertaining when he has the
He's
microphone in his
entertaining,
hand.
and I don't give a shit that he's lost a step in the ring either.
Don't care.
I don't care. The guy can sell a story. He can sell ice to a polar bear. The guy is so freaking entertaining. He needs to be in wrestling. I get it. He's he's a little bit of a prima donna, whatever, dude. Who wasn't in wrestling? Look through all the years. There's been thousands of them. There's thousands of them. So don't get mad at him just because he does it now. You
Yep.
know. So I think he'll just in WWE. I think it's going to be a little bit better
And
for
I
him.
tell you
So
what, you want to light the world on fire? Have him and LA Knight in a ring with the microphone in their hands.
my God, my God,
My God,
all right.
exactly. And that's how you sell
Oh
pay-per-views. That's how you get
God,
me to buy. That's
indeed.
how you get me to show up and buy a ticket. All right,
Yep.
so we're gonna move on to the next section here. So that's Survivor Series. I should be live. Ben, I think you're gonna be traveling.
I'm going to be on the road. I'll be coming back from WrestleCade. Doing
But
a lot of brothering, a lot of
a
politicking
lot of brother and a
this
lot of
weekend.
politicking, but I'll be right here after Survivor Series talking on YouTube. We're going to go live on YouTube and Twitter from the Meatpop Express accounts. So check it out. Check us out there. And well, we'll have a good time. If I'm still eating at the time, I might have a Domino's pie in front of me. Might be shoving it in my face. I don't know.
Real quick before we get to the next segment, Nick, let's say just our favorite Survivor Series moment. I mean, what's one that sticks out in your mind?
I mean, mine's the obvious one I've talked about, and it's obviously Sid there. But Sid winning the title against Shawn Michaels at 96, but
Okay.
at the Garden. But I would I like to say that what's crazy is that you look back at that match, the the match where The Rock debuted, like there's like
Yeah.
not even nine because it's only 8 people in the match. I've been drinking, but there's like 6 Hall of Famers in that match. Like it's just
Yeah, I mean that was 96,
Yeah,
right?
96. You got Jerry the King Lawler. You got Gold Dust, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. You had Barry
Yep.
Windham. You had
Yep.
Triple H. You had The Rock. Right? It's just like
You had
flooded.
it was Jake Roberts,
Jake, right? Yeah,
Mark Miro, The Rock, and the Stalker.
Barry Windham.
The Barry Windham defeated Crush, who's Brian Adams, Goldust, Jerry Lawler, yep, and Triple H. Yep. This was also when they had like every match was a Survivor Series match. There wasn't just one big Survivor Series match. It's like every single match was a Survivor
Yeah.
Series match.
You know what I missed about the Survivor Series? I missed them having like team names. I miss team names.
I know, oh, dude, the team names are the best. One of my favorite teams was Jerry Lawler with Dink and Doink and his right. Or
Yeah.
was it Sneezy and Sleazy? No,
Yeah.
Sneezy and Sleazy and Wheezy and
So, what's your favorite moment?
No, you know what? I mean, there's been many through the years. Survivor Series has always been a really, really cool pay-per-view or PLE now. Obviously, through the years, they've kind of gone away a little bit from it. It's now, I think, I would say it's like the 5th most important after Money in the Bank now.
Yeah.
But I'd say, honestly, 2001 was cool. Team WWF versus, Team Alliance. But I think in recent memory, it had to be Dolph Ziggler running the table in the Survivor in
That was
2014.
cool. Of
I
course,
thought,
we
and then
thought
Sting,
he was
and
going
of
to go
course,
on to be like the biggest star at the company, which
no, it unfortunately didn't happen. But I thought that was such a cool moment for him, and he'll always have that against that like juggernaut of a team. Spoiler: that Survivor Series team, loved that team. They were enormous. That team,
big guys.
Luke Harper, Rusev, Mark Henry, Rowan. That was a big team. Oh no, Rowan was the other team.
bastards.
Rowan was the other team. That was a big fucking match. But what I'm getting at, is that that was an awesome. And then of course, Sting comes out at the end, which that was just an incredible moment. Obviously, never been in a WWE ring, so people freaking out there. So I'd say in recent memory, 2014 is probably my top Survivor Series moment.
And what year were you born again, Ben?
1990.
So you were born in 1990. So you didn't actually see the Undertaker debut.
I never saw the no.
I
I don't.
actually saw it.
Okay. Wow.
So that's like, bro, like you want to talk about legitimately being like a 5-year-old and like your 8-year-old brother's like, we're gonna watch Survivor Series tonight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, been talked about ad nauseum. I say that phrase a lot, but it's the truth. I've watched it a million times. It's probably one of the most watched clips in the history of WWE, like the
Oh
Undertaker
yeah.
like debut. Fucking scary, dude.
Oh yeah.
Actually scary.
I mean, Paul Bearer was scary.
I
He
had
was
never
scary.
seen. I just
Paul
remember
Bearer.
being a kid, be like, I had never seen. You never saw anything like this ever on
No.
TV, on anything. Like not like that. Like he was so convincing.
Yep.
Walking down and Roddy Piper on the bikes. Look at that ham hock. Just that
Yeah.
whole just the whole presentation. 1990 Survivor Series. They got the gobbledygooker as well. Survivor Series, man. It should be a lot. It should be a lot bigger than it is right now. They should make it a bigger deal around Thanksgiving. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Some of these team names, man, the Bad Guys, the Teamsters, the Royal Family, Clowns Are Us, the $1 Million Team. Dude, see, this was fun, man. Everybody had a team name, and they all bought into it. And let me just say, it was the Royal Family was Jerry Lawler, Cheesy, Queasy, and Sleazy.
Makes sense.
Versus Dink, Doink, Pink, and Wink. The Clowns. That might be the best.
Can't beat it, brother. So let's move on to the next and last segment. So what we're going to do is we're going to fantasy book our own Survivor Series teams using the following categories: 80s cartoons, 90s cartoons, 80s action stars, 90s sitcom star, and finally, one musician. And as usual, I tag in the big man for the big boot.
All right.
Ben, to you, 80s.
Now, cartoon. I'm gonna go. Yep, we're gonna go in order here. So we're not just gonna pick random ones. We're gonna go in order down the list. I'm picking for my 80s cartoon. I'm going to pick the leader of the team, one of the greatest leaders in the history of cartoons, of action cartoons. This guy led a team versus an alien race from another. Well, they were an alien race too, from another planet.
I think I know who it is.
They were robots in disguise. I'm picking Optimus Prime at 20 feet tall and weighed definitely more than 15% of a metric ton, probably a metric ton. Optimus Prime, the leader of my team from Transformers. That is who I'm leading off with for my 80s cartoon. He is going to be the captain of Team Big Trouble.
Give me your best Optimus Prime impression.
Autobots, roll out.
I am Optimus Prime. I come from the planet Cybertron.
My favorite in Transformers, though, just to nerd out a little bit, was always, who was it? Was
Bumblebee?
Starscream? No, Starscream.
Starscream.
And he had that voice. Yeah, he had that voice. And
Starscream
he was always fucking up. He was always fucking up.
The guy who did Starscream, I think, also did Optimus Prime. I think they're the same guy.
But Peter Cullen, I know, did Optimus Prime.
Pretty sure they're the same guy.
And the same guy was he the same guy who did Eeyore? Because it's funny. It was Megatron and Eeyore. Or no, maybe it was Eeyore and Optimus Prime. I don't know. But it's kind of funny that the guy did the same voice of both of them.
Autobots, roll out.
No, one of the all-time greatest franchises.
For me, I'm going for my 80s cartoon. So I'm trying to kind of just get a little bit of a cheat code here. And basically somebody that just never lost back in the day in pro wrestling was Hogan. So I just picked the guy that kind of looked like him. I'm going with He-Man. I'm going with He-Man because he's jacked, brother.
Yes, he
is. I have
the power.
Led a bunch of groups of misfits, and he won every big match he's ever been in. I'm going with He-Man because, brother, when you're, what was it? Grayskull? What was the
Grayskull? Skeletor was the main bad guy.
Skeletor.
Grayskull was the I think
that's
where the place. That was like the temple. Yeah.
He was just beating that ass. Listen, the bottom line is the guy was jacked. That's pretty much what I'm betting.
Prince Adam.
He was jacked. Haircut. He was jacked, and he looked like Hogan.
He sure did.
Kind of look like Hogan. So next category is, to me, we're going with 90s cartoon. Okay, so 90s cartoon. I was and it's coming back to me here for the first pick. I was a little torn by this, but you know that I like to give it to my little short guys. And if there's anything I know about short guys, is I know that if I read a magazine for X-Men, our boy Wolverine, brother, who is you just can't kill. He's a little guy. I think they actually got him booked shorter than me.
He's about 5'2".
Yeah, they got him booked shorter than me. Don't make a joke. They got him booked shorter than me. I'm not 5'2". Okay. My wife is way too hot for me to be 5'2", brother, because I'm still in the I can still get hot chick zone. So if you're curious about where old Nicky the Good is standing, and it ain't that tall, sure as hell ain't tall as Ben, it's tall enough to get a hot smoking hot Italian wife, and that's what I got. So I'm going with Wolverine because guy's pretty much indestructible. I mean, it's pretty much a cheat code. I can't lose the match. He probably has to get counted out. To be honest, probably he has to get counted out. If they're enforcing the rules, he can get counted out.
All right. I mean, he's got daggers in his hands. I mean, that's an interesting pick there. But I mean, it's okay going with the small guy. He's a little guy. He's a little guy. He's just a little guy. Little guy at the bar, always causing problems. Always wants to fight the bigger guys.
Yep.
I'm going with. I mean, you'll figure this out, folks, as we go along in this little draft here. I'm going with all big guys. We're going all over 6 foot here. Every guy, even tall, over 6'3". And my next pick, I needed some machismo on the team. I needed some attitude. I needed somebody who was just a bona fide ladies' man. I'm going with my 90s cartoon. I'm going with Johnny Bravo.
Oh,
Look, Johnny Bravo, he's jacked. He didn't do leg day because it's an upper body business, folks. Doesn't matter. Shout out JD from New York. Hope you're still putting up 275, buddy.
yeah.
But Johnny
big
Bravo, 6'3", with his hair. He had the hair, he had the looks, he had the shades, of course, because the sun never sets on a cool guy.
guy.
You know that. You know that, folks. Johnny Bravo chasing the women. We needed a little bit of that. That's what wrestling's all about. So I am picking Johnny Bravo as my next pick as my 90s cartoon.
So you got a robot and Johnny Bravo so far.
Yep, exactly. What a team so far. All over 6'3".
Yeah, I like it. You know, I like good-looking people. So Johnny Bravo,
That's it.
good by me. Next category is gonna be 80s action star, and Ben, we're kicking it to you.
Yep, 80s action star. You know, my
I feel
team,
like this. I feel like I know what this one is.
my team's definitely got the villain vibe. You know, we got Johnny Bravo. I mean, Optimus Prime's an ultimate good guy. But you're kind of getting an idea now that I'm going with tall guys. And usually in movies, tall guys are sometimes the bad guys. The big guys are sometimes the bad guys. Why? Because it's hard to overcome us. But I am going to go with standing at 6'5" with just hands of steel. He killed Apollo Creed.
Oh my
I'm
God.
going with Ivan Drago as my next pick for 80s action star. He trains in a lab. He's got the whole country of Russia behind him.
He's on the gas.
He's on the gas. That is professional wrestling. You know, and you know, he came up a little short against old Sly, you know, but whatever. He killed Apollo Creed, and I mean that's gonna say something.
Yeah,
Villain.
man.
He's a villain. He's a foreign heel. That's Vince's wet dream. So you know what? Ivan Drago, my third pick, 80s action star. Nick, going to you.
For me, 80s action star, I'm going with I needed someone who's crazy. Okay. I need my X factor. I need someone who's unpredictable, someone who just is unconventional but can get the job done. So I'm going with the 80s action star version of John Moxley. I'm going with from Die Hard, John McClane.
Oh, yippee-ki-yay.
I'm taking
Okay.
yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, because listen, he didn't have a great body, okay? He wasn't the most jacked motherfucker in the world, but he was crazy. He pissed people off, was a hell of a promo, and I'm looking to sell tickets. And if I'm looking to sell tickets, I need someone that can relate to the common man. And there was no bigger common man than John McClane as an action star in the 80s. You know, Bruce Willis was basically kind of going bald. He didn't even have his full head of hair, didn't have a full head of locks. He wasn't seen as this iconic sex symbol, you know, that he would probably become later in life. He was, you know, he's rugged, you know, tough dude, you know, wearing the old guinea tee, you know. I'm going with John McClane. Dude was unpredictable and saved the world many times over.
Okay, good pick there. Good pick. And really quick, Nick, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I think it is. I like.
I don't think it is, folks. It's not. It just so happened to be centered around the same time where Christmas happens in the year.
Okay.
But that's it. That's a
Different
discussion
show.
for another day.
Different show.
All right, Nick, back to you. We're going with 90s sitcom.
90s sitcom star. So I want to give love to the little people.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
You kind of talked about it. You actually alluded to the actual match where you had the royal family versus the clown show. What was it?
Clowns Are Us.
Clowns Are Us with the little people. So I'm keeping it in the same category because I like to diversify my portfolio. So I'm going with Baby Sinclair from the dinosaurs, not the mama coming in with foreign objects, hitting. Basically, he'll probably go over and win the match. Just coming in there with a bedpan and smashing old friggin' Optimus Prime right up in his dome, being like, Autobots roll out, motherfucker. You're not the mama. And I'm counting you to 3. 1, 2, 3. Baby Sinclair going over big time as a little people person. But he's a dinosaur.
Okay. Well, the baby, you gotta love him.
Not the mama.
But not the mama. All right. Well, now to me with my 90s sitcom star, and again, I'm going big. I'm going with the big guys showing love in Team Big Trouble. We ain't going to miss in this pick as well because I'm going with Rob Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. Brad Garrett, who stands at 6'8".
Big mother.
He's my second biggest guy on this team besides the 20-foot Optimus Prime by the 20-foot alien robot. Rob Barone, Raymond, coming in, just bursting through doors. He emasculated his brother at every chance he could. He's a man of the law, too. He's a police officer, I think. I didn't really watch a lot of Everyone's Law. I think he was a police officer, but had the deep voice, masculine, and he's Italian, He's Italian.
Love that. I also love that for that show. Fun fact, the writer went to Hofstra, was my alma mater.
Look at that. He's pride. Hofstra pride, baby.
Hofstra pride, baby. Yeah, I like that pick. That's a good one.
Rob
show.
Barone.
My parents are a big fan of that show. And
I never was, Nick.
It's pretty good. But he could be on your team. Right. He's tall. Man, he qualifies.
He's a personal favorite. And he's a funny guy. Funny guy.
And we're going to close out our Survivor Series teams with a musician. Any musician from any era. And Ben, it goes to you.
I had a tough time with this because I was trying to find like a tall musician. Could have gone with Billy Corgan, but he's a little skinny, he loves wrestling though. So, shout out the NWA. But I don't know. He wasn't really fitting my team, but I was looking up who were the tallest musicians and I found this guy. I'm not a big fan of this genre of music. It's okay, but I'm not a big fan of country music. Have you seen how big this mother effer Trace Adkins is?
No.
He is 6'7". This guy is, there was a picture of him, and folks, go look this up. Trace Adkins, Adkins. Trace Adkins next to the Big Show. Big Show might have had 1 or 2 inches on this guy. And they're like the same size. This guy is an absolute hoss. So I am rounding out my team with Trace Adkins, big country singer. I've heard of him before. I did not know how big this mother effer was.
He's 61 years old.
He's 61. He's got experience, but he could probably still throw hands. I bet you he's got that old.
He can still
strength.
go.
He's got that old country, old man strength. Oh yeah, no. He is a sleeper on my team. Trace Adkins, rounding out Team Big Trouble.
All right. So for me to close it out, we're going with musicians, and we said it could be any musician.
Yeah,
right?
Any musician.
Anybody qualified. This guy had a hit single. This guy was tops on the iTunes charts. This guy's hit single just had its 10-year anniversary, and people are still talking about it today. Do you have any idea who I'm talking about, Ben?
Oh my God. You pandering son of a bitch. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, Ben. Let me ask you a question.
I've never listened to this song in full.
Did you ever meet a girl and think to yourself, she's the one?
Oh, my God. As
time goes on, you realize she ain't nothing but a hoskie.
Folks, just so you know, he listens to...
with Zach Ryder, because we're talking musicians. I somehow did it. Oh, Nikki the Good. I could have said Jeff Jarrett. I could have said with my baby tonight. But no, baby. I'm going with Zach Ryder. It's the 10-year anniversary of Hoskie, one of the greatest boy band songs sung by a single artist. I'm going with Zach Ryder. It's still on iTunes, baby. It's still cranking. It's got the best lyrics of all time. When I met you, girl, it was love at first sight. Your hair looked so good. That dress was so tight. Just like incredible stuff. And he's a pro wrestler. So some way, old Nikki the Good did it. I somehow took the category list and I brought it back to professional wrestling. And on no other podcast, brother, will you ever get someone with the brains and the brawns of old Nikki the Good and the Meatpop Express. Zach Ryder is my musician for my team for Survivor.
He also listens to his own music and when he works out, folks, just so you know, little known fact from the early days of the Meatpop Express. We went over that. No, it's a good pick. That's a good pick. Obviously, friend of the pod, Matt Cardona. Obviously, at the time was Zach Ryder when he produced that song. I didn't even think of it. Didn't even think of it. But that's a good team. That's a good team. Not as good as my team. My team's enormous.
Yeah, your
My
team would
is
probably squash my team, but it's
absolute
fine.
hosses.
It's okay.
all
I'm
right.
just
You
trying
know,
to
we have
sell some
fun.
tickets. I'm
We
just
have
trying
fun.
to sell
I have
tickets.
an alien 20-foot alien robot on my team. So another 80s action star. I could have went if we were bringing it back to wrestling. Could have went with Thunder Lips.
You could
Could have got.
yeah.
Could have went with all Thunder Lips.
I'm kind of
Hulk
upset
Hogan.
I didn't do that.
Yep, right. So that is our Survivor Series. Look at that. No holds. What was his name in No Holds Barred? Rip. Yep. So it could have been Rip as well. I mean, Hogan had some absolute bangers. And folks, maybe on a pod one day we'll do a watch along as we watch some of the great Hogan movies of all time.
Yes, sir. So, folks, that's it for this week. This week we are covering Survivor Series. So you just got all of our picks. You got our Survivor Series teams. We're looking forward to the show, which is going to be airing tomorrow night on Peacock, because November 25th. All right. We'll be there. We'll be live tweeting. Ben will be in a car, but I'll probably be live after the show, discuss all things Survivor Series at Meatpop Express on YouTube, on Twitter. Make sure to follow us there everywhere. You can follow Ben at Big Trouble BB on all platforms. You can follow me at Nicky the Good on all platforms. And Ben, do you have anything else to say to these marks?
Nothing else besides the fact, let me get my shit in real quick. I will be at WrestleCade this weekend, folks. If you're there, come to. I'm unofficially going to be at WrestleCade. I am going to be probably the biggest mother in the goddamn room. Maybe not. Maybe won't be credentialed, but I'll be walking around. Come see me. I might have Slim Jims. I might not. Most likely won't. But you know what? Maybe. But maybe not. Probably not. But folks, until then, if you see me there, come say hey. Make sure you keep the shades on. You keep it positive, and you also just keep it trucking because the sun never sets on a cool guy.
Later, Marks.